Hi all, welcome next video. Okay, so as you see, like in this video, we are going to discuss about how we can deploy web application in IIS server. Okay, or how we are like hosting the web application. It is not specifically related to .NET or .NET MVC or WebAPI. Like any web application which are like eligible for deployment in IIS server. So we will be understanding in this video how we can deploy that application inside the IIS server. Okay, so like in the previous videos we already have seen like how we are creating web application, how we are creating web APIs, how we are creating ASP.NET application, but we did not yet understand how we can host that application in local IIS or in IIS server or in Windows server. Okay, so in this video we are going to understand that like how we can like we can mostly we are using like IIS Express for running the application and implementing the functionality and debugging the application. In my previous video I was also using the IIS Express only, but in this video we will be using local IIS. Okay, so how we can configure that, how we can understand that, like how the deployment happens, so all the scenario we will be understanding only in this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and see. Okay, so what we are going to learn in this video: what is IIS, advantages of hosting application in IIS, changing configuration for application, and where www.root folder is available for the server and what type of configuration we can do inside that, creating virtual directory, creating application pool for the application, and setting up the default page and enabling directory browsing for the application. So all these terms I will be like telling you what are the terms and what are the features we are going to handle in this like in this deployment process. Okay, so before going ahead, let's understand what is IIS. So basically IIS stands for like Internet Information Server. Okay, basically a server provided by the Microsoft. Okay, so inside the IIS we can host the web applications. So what is the like main purpose of hosting the application? Why we are hosting the application? So basically we are like running the application in IIS Express. So like we for the like local purpose and for the individuals to understand, debug and run the code is fine for running in IIS Express. But if we wanted to available that application to globally, or we wanted to host that application, in that case we will require some configuration or hosting inside the server. Okay, so like it is required that the website is hosted on some sort of web servers. There are different web servers available for different technologies. Like in .NET web server available is called Internet Information Services, that is IIS. Okay, so once web application is developed, application can be okay. So once the application is developed, like afterwards we can deploy that application in the server, and after deploying we can like open or enable that particular domain for the like public user to access that application. Okay, so in this way you can see that local IIS. So if you go inside the application, let me show you. So if you right click on the application, go to the properties, so you would be seeing this particular page. So clicking here on a web tab, so you would be able to see here the option for the local IIS. So when you are creating the new application, so by default it will be hosted on the IIS Express, but we need to host this application in IIS. Okay, so for hosting that we will need to select the local IIS. Okay, so after selecting that local IIS, one it will automatically provide you this local host URL. So create that virtual directory. Okay, so once you creating that virtual directory, that virtual directory will get available in the INET in IIS. Like this is the INET manager, internet. Okay, INET manager. So we can open this. So how we can open this? Just click on Windows R, put INET MGR and click OK. So after clicking that, this internet manager screen will be available. So inside that you can do the configuration. But before that, if you're doing this thing first time, what you need to do? Like inet manager is not by default available in all the laptops and all the servers. By default it is disabled for all the servers, like because it is the perspective for the development and developer perspective. Like if the laptop user is a simple user, he is not a developer, he is not a technical person, so this thing is like useless for him. So and this thing takes lots of process and lots of memories inside the server, inside the laptop. So by default this feature is disabled inside the Windows laptop. So how you can enable that? So what you need to do, search control panel, go to the control panel, programs, default no, programs and features, and here you see Windows features on and off. Okay, so if you open this, you would be seeing here one Internet Information Service hostable web core and Internet Information Service. So you need to check this particular thing. By default, this feature will be would be disabled in your laptop. So if you are going to use this first time, you need to enable this one. And after enabling this, like this will take reboot for the PC. So you will need to reboot that PC. Okay. And one more thing is important that I'm going to tell you further. So let me show you that what is web security. This is the types, which types are available. This one. Okay, so what you need to understand, like if you are creating a new MVC application, if you're creating web API or .NET Core application, you need to select this one, SP.NET 4.8. You need to make sure like both these checkbox are checked properly. Okay, if these checkbox are not checked, you would not be able to run the application, and you will always be like getting the multiple solutions from the Google, but believe me, you would not be understanding what you need to do. Some people will tell you like enable directory browsing, some people will tell you like do this configuration, but the actual reason behind of that is you are not enabling IIS for ASP.NET version 3.5 and 4.8. So currently I've been working on the .NET version 4.8, so I have just now enabled this 4.8 feature, then only I would be able to run this I would be able to host my application on this IIS server. I was also struggling before of this, so after resolving that I'm telling you the possibility of resolution. Okay, so what kind of issue you will get if it is not enabled? This page you will be getting like 403 forbidden, and you can see the solution is telling your default document is not configured for the requested URL and directory browsing is not enabled. So like reading this particular line, we are understanding like we need to do some configuration in IIS, but basically this is not the case. Okay, we need to make sure like our application is if our application version is 4.8, so that should be checked inside that IIS, so that IIS can understand that particular application format. Okay, so hope you understand this. So let's go ahead and okay, so moving ahead. So advantages of hosting. So I already told you there are like multiple advantages of hosting. So like inside the IIS server, I will show you further. You can like do the authentication. You can like do the membership configuration. You can do the session configuration. You can do the like you get the multiple features. You can like on the based of configuration, you can make the changes in IIS configuration and you can like achieve these functionalities. Apart from this, like the major advantage of using this, the application gets available to the end users, to the public users. Okay, so this thing I recently just told you, like how you can enable the IIS in your Windows. So this way you can enable. So what is default document and what is directory browsing? So that I'm going to tell you. The error page also is telling for the default document and directory browsing, but you may have a some like you. Okay, so I'm telling you how you can enable directory browsing and how you can do set up a default configuration. So for opening IIS, what you need to do, click Windows R, put inet mgr and click OK. Okay, so after clicking this, inet manager will get opened. Okay, so you see here default document and directory browsing. So basically whatever the changes you are making here, that changes will automatically get applied for your application. So instead of doing that changes inside the web config, you can do those kind of changes here directly. Okay, so let me show you that how it is. So see default documents here. So default documents is basically a startup page for your application. Okay, so whatever the startup page for your application, this will automatically going to like handle that. So like today, most of the application is using default.html, default index.html, and index default.asp. So these are the possible startup page for the application. But if you in case like if you if your application is using some different application, like if my application is using landing.aspx, okay, so in that case like we will need to put that startup page here, landing.aspx, then only it will be redirecting to that particular startup page. Okay, so inside the application I understand you are understanding how the application, how we can set the startup page here. So see here we get set as a startup page. Okay, so for running that application locally is fine, we can set this application as a startup, but for the hosting, if you want to set that page as a startup, you will need to put that page name here. Okay, so this default document is required for setting up the startup page. And directory browsing, what is directory browsing? So like if we enabling the directory browsing, all the like files and all the dependent document which are available inside the hosted folder, that will get displayed as a file. Let me show you how it gets displayed. I just enabled directory browsing. Okay, so let me show you, let me browse that. So this is currently not opening for that. This type of directly like whatever the folders are there inside the hosted folder, that will get displayed here. Okay, so like how you can verify that, it is see like the folder name, file name is antlr3 runtime dll. Okay, so you would be seeing that antlr3 runtime dll. So basically whatever the files are available inside that hosted folder, that will get displayed as a like directory. Okay, if you enabling the directory browsing, but mostly we don't need to enable this. Okay, otherwise we would not be able to see that particular page. Okay, so just a few minutes, a few hours, just 1 hour back, I just hosted this application, testmvc.app. So you can see that testmvc app, I have created this the virtual directory is created. So once I click here and create the virtual directory, that virtual directory gets available here, testmvc app. Okay, and how we can create the pool for that? So this is the pool section, and you can see here test mvc app pool is already created. Okay, so what you need to do, if you created this virtual directory, so you just click here, manage website, advanced setting, and select the pool. So pool is, you can say, like a section or container for that application. Okay, like where the application will be running. So there could be a multiple application in the single server. Like here you can see I just have like say three application. Okay, so I have some different pools, but by default the pool is available is default type pool. Okay, so rather than running all the application in single pool, we should always prefer to choose a different pool for the different type of application. Okay, so that we can segregate, and in case of like pool stop or in case of recycling, we would not be required to, or we would not means our all application would not be stuck or would not be like stopped in the same scenario. Okay, so let's go and try to host one application. Okay, so this was the thing, and how we can publish that application. So publish is basically publishing the application. So this means so whatever the we are building here and creating the DLLs, so all the DLLs are available here. I show you inside the bin. See, all the dependent DLLs are available. So basically, when we are deploying the application, this DLL gets copied from here and deployed on the like pasted on the deployed folder. Okay. So let me show you. This was the test application that I deployed earlier. So let me show you a fresh new application for the deployment. What else we have? Okay, that I will be telling you after the deployment process. Okay, so this one I already have hosted, so I will be hosting this one in VC app. The mostly this application I'm using for like the test application I'm using for my test purpose, and once like I understand or achieve the functionality, I like implement that functionality in front of you using this application. Okay, so firstly let me test it whether it is working or not. Okay, so this has been opened. So currently you see this is using the IIS Express. Okay, so let's run it and see. I think other application is running that, but still I can't reach. Let's build it first. It is using the same port, so let's see if it is loading. So what happens here? This is the actually disadvantages of IIS Express. Like if we are running on a default port, so if we are already running one application and we're trying to load another application for same type, so um, most of the time application selects the default port number and it is stuck, or it like not automatically gets loaded in the browser. Okay, so like application is loading properly in IIS Express and it is working. So let's host this particular CRM MVC app in IIS. So what you need to do, right click here, go to the properties, go to the web, install this application. Okay, currently see here IIS Express is selected. Okay, so I'm changing it to local IIS. Okay, so once I change it to local IIS, you see the URL is already there. CRMS MVC app, which is not yet available here in website. Test is there because I recently deployed the test, but CRMS MVC app is not available. So create one virtual directory. Okay, so once you create that changes, save that changes. Once you create the virtual directory successfully, this application will get available here. Okay, see all the tests were there earlier, and this CRMS MVC app is created. So if you go and see the advanced setting, so once you are creating the application, so default pool gets selected here. You can see default app pool is selected. Okay, so what you need to do, based upon your requirement, you can create your personal application pool. Okay, so what you need to do, go to the application pool. What is the name? CRMS MVC app. So I prefer to create a new app pool with the same name. Okay, so what is the name? CRMS MVC app. CRMVC. Okay, click OK. So see, one app pool is created. So go to the advanced setting. Uh, you can understand this one also. Okay, what is important here? Sometimes like this most of the time application pool identity is this application pool is using, but in case like if you're seeing in the server some issue like the pool is not granted or we are getting unauthorized uh, page while running the application, so we can set our own identity here as well. Okay, so that will provide us the access. So this is the identity section, but by default pool identity is set up, so I think that is fine, that is provide a broader access. But in some cases like if the pool identity password is failed and you are getting some issue, so meantime you can also set your identity here based upon your access. If you don't have access, definitely you would not be able to set this. Okay, and this feature is also important, enable 32-bit application. So what happens, like sometimes we are creating a 32-bit application, or our server is supporting only 32-bit application and we are deploying here, but due to this bit difference, like our application is of 32-bit and server is supporting only 60 to 64-bit application. So in that case, like we are our application not like runs properly or not provide us the proper response. So what we need to do in that case, like we can enable this 32-bit application pool setting. Okay, so that you can check. So these are the some possibility in case of failure, you can check that. Okay, so once your pool is created, you can, and you can also check the CLI version, like please make sure like if you are going to create that pool, so pool should not use like lower version of a lesser than 4.2, because I think 4.2 is the only is supporting for the MVC one. Means make sure you are using the .NET CLR latest version here. Okay, so by default if you are using the latest IIS version, so definitely it would be selecting the default CLR as a latest version. So our pool is created. So what we need to do, just for this application, right click, manage application, advanced setting. So select our pool, the latest one pool we created. What is the name? CRMS and BCA. Click OK. OK. Okay. So now if you verify it, our pool is selected as CRMS and BCA. Okay. So now the application pool is created and ready for use, and website is hosted and ready for the use. Okay. So if you see the location of this particular website, so this is going to be a default location where you put the project. Okay, so it is currently hosted on the same website, so it is using the same folder. But in case like if we are going to configure new website inside the server, so we can right click and add application. Okay, So once you click on add application, you can give the name for that application. You can select the application pool, and you can select the path where you are going to put that DLLs. Okay. So after selecting this, you will be clicking on OK, and same way the application will get available here in this folder. So let's browse this application. See, our application is hosted. You can see the local host here, MSMVC app. Now it is not using any port. Now it is not using any IIS Express. It is directly hosted in our server. So what is the advantage of you? You can see here, like in case of WebAPI, it is major one. You can see we did not run the application. It is hosted somewhere in our server, and if we are using the URL, it is loading. We don't need to run the application. But for the IIS Express, the last we were using, like we need to run every time for the application for using that. Okay, so like if you're using the web API, so most of the cases what happens, like we run the APIs, dependent APIs, then we run the web application, then only we are able to like use that application and access the APIs, and after APIs we are able to access the databases. But in the case like if we hosted that API in the IIS server, we don't need to run that application, because hosted application will automatically be up and run all the time until it gets stopped or server gets stopped. Okay, so this application will available all the time for the users. Okay, so our application hosted successfully. So that I think, hope you understood all the way how you can do that. I try to like explain in the best way. Okay, the next thing what we need to cover, let me show you this one. Like if you wanted to host, or you wanted to give your custom domain name. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so let me go one from beginning. Okay, so firstly you need to identify, if you wanted to create a custom domain and you wanted to point this local host to a custom domain, so how you can do that? So that what I'm going to tell you. Okay, so go to the Windows, go to inside the Windows, go to system 32. Do you see any system 32 here? Yeah, system 32, and inside the system 32 click on drivers, inside the driver etc, and here you can see the host file. Okay, so click on the edit. Make sure you should have a admin access to make changes in this particular file, because this is the host file and only admin can make the changes. So if you wanted to point your local host to any particular custom domain, so before that you need to buy this particular domain from outside for the internet purpose. Okay, and once you do that, you can point your local host to that particular custom domain. So like see, I recently pointed for www.testmvcf.com, www.testmvcf.com. So after this, if you pointing this one, okay, so anyone is clicking on this particular URL, so this URL will be redirecting to your page. Your page means your local host page, test MVC app. Okay, so I already have created here test MVC app. You can see test MVC app is here. Okay, so like if I'm running this one, okay, so test MVC app is opening. Okay, this is our MVC app and this is our test MVC. But in case if I'm opening my URL that I pointed in my host file, www.testmvcapp.com, if I click enter here, so it is showing forbidden for something. this page we get the forbidden page comes like when we are failing and we are not able to like host this particular file. So this is we are getting this one because this file is, let me open. So how you can like give that particular name, I'm telling you. Advanced setting, see that this file is with name for this particular, control C. Okay, so what is happening, like currently this file is not pointing properly, this is not running properly, so we can remove this one. Okay, so this has been removed and this test MVC is running properly. You can see I already have done that. Okay, so this is running properly. So what we can do, we can point our this particular application to that particular domain. So what you need to do, manage application, advanced setting, not here, this is by default accepting local host. Browser says this is local host selecting by default, so we need to make it for our purpose. So okay, so what we can do, let's add a new website. Okay, then you will be understanding better. Add application, physical path we are going to add application. This is the alias name. This one is also not opening, so basically we need to put this application inside the default web application, then only this will work. Okay, because most of the application are get hosted inside the default website. We can create our own, but default website is the like preferences. So right now if we have deleted and we try to run this, what it is telling, yeah, this directory is not available. Okay, so I already put the reference here in my page, deployment process, not this one. Okay, so I'm telling to tell add new application from here. So I'm going to tell you, and if you want, if you add any approach, is only giving this one. Okay, so if I click add website here, okay, this one. Okay, so physical path, what we can give, currently I'm giving test MVC, test MVC, test MVC app, new, test MVC app. Okay, and the physical path, what, before that I need to copy the physical path. So this I'm copying from here and I'm going to add a new website here. Okay, so I'm going to give a physical path, this one for the test MVC, and the host file path that I put here, that I need to give for custom domain hosting. I'm copying from here and putting here for the host name, and hope this path is fine. Site name I'm putting, test MVC app system. Okay, because this is a site. Inside this we can like host the custom like managed sites. Okay, such test MVC apps is there. Okay, created. So let's try to browse it first. Still it is not getting. Close. Test MVC app should work. Once you can see that custom domain name is coming here. Okay, so if we are browsing it, okay, the app pool issue, I think there should be app pool issue. Test MVC app. Okay, test MVC app instead of, okay, the app pool is already created. If we are adding a new site, so make like if we create a test MVC apps new site, okay, so app pool is already created. Test MVC app, and it is test MVC apps, and it is already started, and one application is assigned. Means this application is assigned for that. So ideally this should run, but this is not providing. Means you can like assign this way you can assign the custom domains. Currently it is not getting the directory. I don't know why. Let me find the way. Okay, so it is loading now, you can see. So maybe it was taking a little bit time, but now you can see I put the custom domain here, testmvcapp.com, and now it is redirecting to the our localhost test MVC application, this application. So instead of localhost slash test MVC application, we can give the custom domain in this way. But before assigning this domain, we need to purchase this domain from somewhere. Okay, so once we get authorized for this domain, we can redirect our website to this particular custom domain. Okay, so this is actually a very essential video. Try to understand and try to uh, do the practice in your way. But if you face any issue, you can like get in touch with me, or you can message me, or I will be providing you the team link, um, telegram link below in a section, in the description section, so you can connect with me in that group. Okay, hope you understand well, and hope you are doing well. In case of any issue or any doubt, you can directly ping me, or you can email me, or you can connect me in a group. Okay, thank you so much for the watching. See you on the next video. Thank you all.